I just read an interesting article. I saw it tweeted from My Time to Shine. Hello. It took me to a Hollywood Reporter, and I was going to do the whole let me react. I'm not even prepared. I didn't get it already yet. Instead, I'm going to give you my emotions to this news. They at Marvel Studios have realized something's wrong. The Daredevil show, which they were beginning, not even half of the episodes have been shot and filmed because of that writer strike, actor strike that interrupted things. And they looked at what they had and they said, no, not anymore. This is it. Somebody named Brand Winderbaum, name I've been familiar with as an executive of Marvel Studios, he gave a quote trying to explain just how we're doing something different now. There's no longer going to be the random shows, here we go, limited series, get invested, limited series, get invested. We're going to do serialized show. Basically, what they told me was we're going to storytell. We're going to have something happen with the intention of following up on that something and building and making that something mean even more in season 2, because you know what's coming next? A season 3. And I would love for that to be the thing. That's what they're doing. Yes, some things are already shot. The Wonder Man show has been filming. It's kind of, we're going to get that in a couple of years. Ironheart is produced. Agatha House of Darkness is produced. We're going to have to sit through some of the shows from the old philosophy. But coming up, we're going to be getting a lot of season 2s, a lot more. That's going to hurt the company. Of course, I can think of how toy sales and new merchandise are going to be lacking, because if you're shooting, let's just say for an example, Falcon Winter Soldier, if they had a season 2, how many more toys are you really going to sell of Falcon and Bucky? You've gotten gotten out everything you were going to get. If Moon Knight has a new season, I mean, we already have the Moon Knight show for the first time around. Everyone who wanted to buy Moon Knight got their Moon Knight. So that season 2 won't be a new, fresh kind of like launch of merchandising for the people, for licensing and every other thing that is associated with a brand new IP. But it doesn't mean that in season 2 of the new show that they're doing, so let's say Daredevil season 1 happens. In Daredevil season 2, should they introduce to you guys to a new hero who hasn't been featured before, I'm just going to pick a name. Sam Alexander Nova. I understand why that wouldn't work for all the comic book fans, but let's just say that Sam Alexander, he's a New Yorker. He appears in the Daredevil for like 2 episodes towards the ending. There, you got your merchandising right there for those 2 episode appearances of he being on the Daredevil show, which would never happen. But Nova is boom. He's or Richard Rider, I should have said. Boom. He's part of the show. He's part of that merchandising. You got him on TV. People are gonna buy the toys now. I'm just saying. The storytelling aspect of it is everything to me. There's a quote like, "Oh, what we want is them to fall in love with the characters so much that they want to finish and continue, not because that it's gonna be some tie-in crossover to Avengers, but because you like the characters." I disagree with that. So when we do the X-Men show, when we do Academy X, where they buy a set, they actually buy a mansion where they can own, where they can shoot their movies there, they can shoot their TV shows there, but they have the set there. When they do that, I want season 1, 2, and 3 of the X-Men show to tie in with whatever Wolverine movie you're going to do, whatever Cyclops and Jean Grey and X-Men movie you're going to do. I want the Academy X TV show of the students of the Academy to build. I want to be introduced to a kid here in season 1 of the show. He's in season 2 also, and then he has an appearance in the movie where they go, "Bro, you're on the official X-Men main A-team squad." I want to see progression that does mixed in with the movies. So no to that aspect of this big Hollywood Reporter article that I read, but yes to everything else that they're thinking about. When they talked about the woes, they tried to give excuses to what's going on. So we got some clarity during the She-Hulk show. There was a Jessica Gal writer who was kind of treated like the main, and then there was a diminishing of the role, and then here comes Jessica Router in post-production. They say that the post-production, or we'll fix it in post, makes it feel like a director isn't directing. That's why the Moon Knight guy left, and that's why they had so many problems with Secret Invasion. They're saying that there was a squabble of a fight for power, and that's why the show sucked. I don't think that. I think the writing sucked, no matter who was in there trying to fight for power. And Marvel declined to comment, which, okay, Marvel declining to comment. Get out of here. That show was bad because it was written bad. From inception, it was always going to be a filler arc of Nick Fury, who, from my knowledge, when I watched him in Spider-Man Far From Home, he was perfectly fine, and he was fully himself. All of a sudden, the beginning of Secret Invasion starts, and we hear about how the blip affected him negatively. What? He was just kicking her, skipping and chilling over on top of that sword station back at the end of Far From Home in the end credit scene, and now we have to find out the blip affected him negatively. Don't worry, by the end of the episode 6, he's back up in space and everything's fine. So we don't even have to address that he was not himself the next time we see him in a movie. Filler arc, literally circular storytelling that starts here, we're back to normal. Here's the next time you see Nick Fury. It's like all that never happened with the character. Filler. It was doomed to fail. So I don't want to hear about how an executive tried too hard to get power. Man. Victoria Alonso. That's what they want me to think. They want me to come on here and be like, God, thank God Victoria Alonso's gone. I'm not falling for that. What I am believing though is that Marvel Studios is on the up and up. This is a positive news story. It's a bright light, as I'm going to put in my title that you saw. This is a bright light. This is a hope that they've seen what's gone wrong. They've heard feedback, and they're saying, we're going to fix it. I love that Daredevil is not going to continue with the disappointing show that it was doomed to be. Or if we take their word for it, it wasn't going to be an entertaining outing. And they're going to hire new writers for that. Everyone who's part of it, scrapped. Let's get some new people in here. I like it. They did that with the Avengers movie. If you remember, the guy who wrote Ant-Man Quantumania isn't going to be writing the new Avengers movie. What really matters is who is. I'm looking at Marcus and McFeely. These guys are writers who did Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, Winter Soldier as well. Very loved movies by Marvel fans. Highly profitable. They're the go-to guys to be. There shouldn't have even been a question of who should write the Avengers movie. They have a knack for tying characters in and making their past movies matter a lot more in the current movie, and the experiences inform the actions of these characters. That's expert storytelling, and I hope they're the ones doing Avengers. Plan a series. Yes, with a season 2 and a season 3 and progression and arc. Use characters to appear in the series for like an episode here, an episode there, and that you can get your toy sales and t-shirt sales because this random character is part of the show. Sign long-term contracts. Find actors who are willing to sign these long-term contracts, which means you got to do some scouting. Marvel, you're pretty good at your casting. You guys found Robert Downey Jr. Amazing casting. Do I have to go down the list? Iman Vellani casting her as Ms. Marvel was spectacular. Who else was good? I love that you guys found Drax the Destroyer. You guys found a pro wrestler. Pro wrestling is so underrated. What an amazing genre. You guys found Dave Bautista. You guys found Chadwick Boseman, who was also supposed to play Drax, but he played the Black Panther, which was an amazing casting. I got no problems with Chris Hemsworth as Thor. An amazing casting. They've done it in before. Just find your actors who are going to play your characters, which is why the Fantastic Four should not be big names. When we do that and we find these actors who are of low names, who are not in demand and can't agree to some ridiculous time-consuming contracts because they're too busy with their own projects, when you find these low names who are willing to sign 12-year deals with a movie and a series every single year where they got to stay in shape, they will sign that. And you can pay them pretty much whatever you want to pay them because they're not big names and they don't have options. Do that. Cast accordingly for your X-Men. For your main X-Men. Cast accordingly. And we're good. For your kid X-Men, don't look for Haley Steinfeld. Why was Haley Steinfeld cast for Kate Bishop? Where is she now? She's too popular. She's too expensive. You should have never got her for Kate Bishop Hawkeye. That's why that show feels like it's an outskirt. We're like 8 minutes into this video and I brought up the Hawkeye show. I forgot to even bring it up. But that's a mistake. Getting Haley, if they didn't get Haley Steinfeld, let's just get they got Ashley Steinfeld, some actress from Nebraska. If they would have hired her, she did a great job, and Ashley Steinfeld from Nebraska would have loved to be in the other Marvel shows. She would have loved to appear in Echo, or agreed to appear in Daredevil, agreed to be part of the Ms. Marvel TV show, because the characters kind of match, right? She would have loved something like that. Haley Steinfeld's too busy doing music, acting, red carpets, all that other stuff she does. The casting wasn't worth it. I'm not saying she performed badly to Haley Steinfeld. I'm not insulting her. I'm saying she's a quality person, but there's other quality out there who are willing to give the time. And that's what will make this universe feel attached and less restrictive when we're at the storytelling process, when we're trying to mix it in with the rest of Marvel. Yes, Mix it in with Marvel. Or the MCU is very huge. There's cosmic MCU stuff, so I would expect the Guardians to mix with Thor, to mix with Captain Marvel. I would expect those franchises to be together. I would expect the New York City stuff to be together too, and then I would expect some other things, other characters. So like Rhodey, he's more of like an international guy. He'll appear if there's a problem, no matter where in the world, just because of his role. I would expect that also to be a sub within the universe of storytelling. Within that, there would be like these subdivisions, and maybe these three, if they can be contained within themselves. And then you think about the X-Men who are going to appear and all the mutant stuff, they could have their own little attached thing where they don't always got to mix with the cosmic, which the X-Men do mix with the cosmic. They don't got to mix with New York, which they do mix with. And then there's the whole Sony thing with Spider-Man. Ugh. I'm just saying you can do it. If just because there's sort of like these 5 sects of Marvel, it doesn't mean that they can't mix with each other. They can't be these subsects. And have your movies and your TV shows link up. Before a film, imagine if Captain Marvel 2, which is being released a month from now, imagine if Ms. Marvel, the television series, was airing right now, and we just watched the finale of Ms. Marvel. We would be introduced to the character, she would be plugged, she would also be on trailers for the new movie. It would just help promote each other. It would build hype, and we would say, oh, that girl we just spent 6 weeks with, now she's going to be in a movie next month. It's such a... Timing matters too. Timing is important. So since they're listening over at Marvel Studios, which is a good job and a bright hope and a light, since they're listening, keep listening. Yes, release your television shows at a decent hour where people can actually talk about it. I also would say, stop spending such a big budget and then not putting it on TV. Put it on TV, and then an hour later put it on streaming right afterwards, so that both audiences, the TV people and the streaming people, can benefit from it. You're not cheapening out. No one's going to say, oh, this was on TV, what the hell do I pay streaming for? These are two separate audiences. And plus, streaming is a convenience. It means for you to pause, to play. That's actually nice. Even if I have a TV channel, which I don't right now, even if I have ABC, I'm not going to feel like I'm being cheated. Yeah, I got it on ABC with commercials, and no one can spoil anything by skipping to the final minute of the show, the minute that it's published on the internet, and they're spoiling it. No one can do that because it's on TV. It has to air exactly when whatever airs. And then an hour later, when the show is done on TV, we can finally watch it on streaming service so that we get that benefit. That's my next recommendation to the people who feel like they're listening right now, Marvel Studios. Amazing article from The Hollywood Reporter that you need to be reading up on. Chillmonger out. Subscribe to the channel by clicking on that. Hey, watch the back of the bus. Watch these guys do W's and L's of the week and entertain us on the way. Right there on the side.